Welcome to the Qigong Global Summit, presented by the Shift Network. And now your host, Sharon Rose.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Qi Summit with the Shift Network. I'm Sharon Rose, and today I'll be speaking with Karen Sorvik, and a wonderful, wonderful, long-time, 20-year practitioner of Taoist Nade Song Qigong. She's been teaching this all over the world for many, many years, bringing the wisdom of this very powerful and ancient tradition to people of all ages and bringing her tremendous joy and light. You know, she really, for me, embodies the teachings from the Taoists that when you ask them, what's the purpose of life? They'll say, to enjoy it. And Karen really enjoys it and brings that joy to us all. So today we're going to be talking about the immune system, the work with the immune system in the Qigong tradition. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Sharon. Happy to see you again.
Yes, it's such a pleasure. So first, tell us a little about Nade Song Qigong.
Okay, Nade San, again, the words mean Ne, internal movement. So it's the mastering of the internal movement, what Nade San Qigong really means. And you have practices that you do on your own and practices that you do with hands-on healing. As we become practitioners of the Tao, it comes to a point that we can overflow with the Qi, that we can really bring that into somebody else's life by doing hand-on works and then also doing it as Qi self-massage.
There are so many people who have in this world where there's many toxins and difficulties, stress, who really have some immune system disorders. And I know you're an expert in this. So let's begin by talking about how can these practices help people to boost their immune system?
Okay, the immune system is a sequence of glands that starts from the sexual palace and go all the way up the body. And they are depleted mostly by stress. And these Taoist practices have the key that by just tapping to our walking and activating the water element that brings up the vitality in the body, brings that overflow of energy up the glands so that we can always tap to a way of preventing, nourishing them, and keeping them strong. Something that very few people know about.
I know that you also talk about the power of the breath in these practices. So speak a little about that.
Okay, breath is all. Breath is the life force. And as we bring breath into our body to areas that have been stagnated, closed, we bring back the life force. And so as we do this full body breathing through the glands, we are bringing back life force to dormant, stagnant Qi that was there, that now comes into the flow, it gets circulation, and then it lights up again. So as a gland, it has a color, it has a vibration, a frequency. So we tune up our sound system and we light up our being.
Would you describe a little more the sound and the light of the glands? It's very interesting.
Well, actually, it's very personal. You know, there's a whole systems of chakras with colors, with sounds, but the most important thing is in the Taoist practices to bring it back to the physical body. So as we do these practices, like for instance, we place our hands in the heart center and the thymus, so we're contacting the physical body. And as we contact that physical body, then from there, with the breathing, what do we feel there? What awakens? What buzz is in there? So it's bringing back that life force from the breathing, from our synapses of connecting back to this center, that will eventually bring our vibration to it and will bring up a color. Different systems have different colors. It's just the rainbow, which becomes then white light.
Oh, that's beautiful. You mentioned the sexual palace. Would you describe that?
Well, the sexual palace is the key to keeping the immune system strong, because it's the place where it's not only, we always talk about sex and then lights go up. It is creativity and it is vitality. So by breathing into your sexual palace and making that uterus vibrate, that prostate gland vibrate, it stays healthy. And when it's healthy, it attracts life force. And when it attracts life force, then it can share it, because the glands start from that sexual palace upwards. So it's like an overflow of that vitality that comes up from that sexual palace by absorbing through the vagina, by lifting up the perineum, lifting up the testicles. Is this thing about strengthening all this pelvic floor, and that is like a pump that rises up the spine, or it rises up gland by gland, and we stay in the gland that needs healing. It's not all about getting to the head and seeing, colors and, astral traveling. The key to longevity in the Taoist practices is first, heal the physical body, because when you are strong and healthy, you're going to live long. And if you live long, you might become wiser. And that's why we want to keep this body always healthy. And the immune system is our way of really being able to eat life. Eat life is not easy. It's, change is not easy. So to be constantly in that flow of taking in whatever comes, and nothing is going to make us sick, we just transform it. We fight it, we push it out. We are like thriving. And that's what is a good and strong immune system.
In relation to this, I know there's the concept of Qigong.
Yes.
And so is this related to these practices you're talking about?
Correct. So in the gland system, the first glands right below the sternum are the glands that are connected to that Qigong, which means our essence, our raw material. And as they move up as a transforming center at the solar plexus, it becomes Qi. That means that it's cooked, steam moves up to the glands that are now in the heart center, and it comes all the way to the thyroid gland, which is another transformer. So from Qigong in the belly to Qi in the heart center to Shen, spirit, in the glands that are going to be up in what's called the crystal palace, pituitary, pineal gland, thalamus, hypothalamus. So we are bringing now that vitality that's coming from matter into spirit, coming all the way from bottom up. And as these glands are nourished, becomes again a connection to the beyond that we've lost because they are depleted. And so then we are in oneness with the stars, and we can now receive from above stellar light that is going to be that white organic light descending now through the glands. And now we go to the second journey, which is spirit into matter. So we become co-creators. Release trapped and bring in the light and create our new future. It's like fulfilling our destiny.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, so dreams come true. You're just manifesting it all the time. Once you understand the machine of you being a co-creator, You just have to like oil it a little bit, and then you are living your dream. It might take you some years, but then it's like, I'm in it. I did it. And that is a strong immune system that you're constantly renovating, releasing, and bringing in, spirit and to manifestation.
I know Master Chia has some excellent exercises for enlivening the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So would this be how is this related to his exercise?
Well, in the Taoist practices, you have from what's called the Tao Yin, which is the first very ancient, and that was actually the term before Qigong. It was Tao Yin, of guiding the flow of energy. And so we have what's called the full body breathing through the glands, and we place our hands from the sexual palace, adrenals, pancreas, heart, thyroid, pituitary, pineal gland, to breathe into that in a horizontal position. But then we have what's called the ovarian and testicle breathing. That's a little bit more proactive, sitting, and by activating the pelvic floor, we go up the glands again. And then the third level would be standing. So now you're working with the earth force and heavenly force big time. And now you are really making your body full of vitality, and each one of these centers becomes stronger, lighter, happier, and you're buzzing with life force.
There's Qi.
Qi, exactly, full of Qi.
Could you give us a little example of an aspect of one of these exercises for the audience?
Okay, I can guide a little bit so that we can talk about this breathing. So we place the hands on our navel, and there is an inhale into fullness and an exhale into emptiness, the 4 stages of the breath. The inhale is like the sunrise. The fullness is midday. The exhale is sunset. And the emptiness is the night. The inhale is the springtime, the fullness of summer. The exhale of the fall, the letting go, the emptiness of winter. And that's the breath of the Tao. I don't know its name, but I will call it great. Great means far. Far means far away, and far away means return. And so we breathe in this way to first the navel, then we slide the hands to our sexual palace, and we breathe in deep into these 4 stages of the breath. And we stay as long as that center starts to buzz. So for some, it's going to take a little bit longer than others. Patience is key. Love the practice of being present in doing it at your own pace.
So this buzzing sensation you're describing,
Yes.
that's like a sign that the Qi is actually moving.
Correct. It is very tangible. It's not something that you have to imagine, because it's tricky. You can bring a lot of visualization to the practice, but in my kinesthetic experience, I like to feel it in my body. And so once something lights up, I know this is for real, that something is happening inside me.
I understand. Well, what I love about the Taoist teachings and the Qigong teachings is it really embodied. It's so embodied and so connected with nature and the world around you, and it enables you to be so present in the moment.
Yes. And that's why I fell in love, back in the early 90s while I was watching some people doing Tai Chi, and I said, this is something that I should be doing. I never thought that I was going to become a teacher of this. I started for my own health, issues of stress, and it was a change of career. I left it all. And I just went to a retreat, sabbatical, and was a new life that I'm very happy to now share and pass down these ancient teachings to the new generations.
I know that you work a lot with women.
Yes.
And what I'm experiencing is the world is very chaotic, and people, women also, and men are kind of in emotional turmoil. So I would think that this exercise that you just gave, the simple exercise, if people could turn their mind and actually do it, it would help the mind. They'd come into the body.
Yes, exactly. And what I say to the people that come to me, you can do this laying down. You are going to go to sleep. You're in bed. You have the time there because it's going to take you 5 minutes or 10 or more to fall asleep. So you don't have to find a time for the practice. You already have it. And if they really do that very simple, coming into their belly and then deep down into their sexual palace, they set up in motion the healing process that happens while sleeping. And so that is the key to changing a lifestyle. That, hey, I want to go to bed because I wake up better. Because you set up in motion something, because the body intelligence will heal through the night. And then they will come and say, hey, I want some more. And then you can start giving more practice. But when it's something that is a seed that has already, woken up inside, you can't give something more to somebody that's already stressed. Like, hey, stand for an hour in the morning, meditate half an hour. I said, I don't have time for anything. You're asking me for some more. This one is very practical. Start with 5-10 minutes as you're in bed to go to sleep with less baggage. Release the stress, come into your body so that you move that mind and the body intelligence can work and heal itself.
So you're doing some really interesting research these days.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, as we know with the Qigong practices, they're very difficult to pinpoint exactly what we're doing. And so sometimes we can't fit in with the Western world of science as to what we're doing. But lately, this has been changing. And there are some good doctors that have a Taoist or ancient background that they know, and now they can find exactly what we're doing. So these ancient practices of 5,000 years old can now scientifically be proven as to what we're doing. So I'm working with Dr. Yu, who's an MD and an oncologist. And so we're doing a research between the Qigong practices that we can do for prevention and healing of the hormonal system, and even in preventing cancer. So with our breast massage, and he can really now do a research and putting all this data into it. And I'm really happy to be part of it, and also to bring this awareness to a larger body of people, and also understand that we need to work together. This integration of East and West needs to happen.
You mentioned cancer. It's for women, breast cancer is a very a strong issue these days. So how do these practices assist women if they are diagnosed or if they to prevent these things from happening?
Those practices work first on preventing, and our breast massage is the best way to know your breast. If you know your breast, you know if there's something in there, a little lump, you're going to be much proactive to it. If there's qi flow and circulation, there's going to be much more movement and not stagnation in the breast, which is another cause of cancer. And along with hormone imbalances. So as we do these practices, we are making sure that your hormones are as balanced as they can be. And now working with Dr. Yu is to really put this into a protocol that we can really say, this exercise is for this group of women, 17 to 27 with PMS, and we work that. If we can help them there, it's going to be much better during menopause. And as we get into menopause, we work with the breast massage and have a lot of successful cases that we can work it, that we can prevent it, that the hormones stay with us healthier and stronger for a longer period of time. And of course, sometimes we need to bring some hormones into it. Not only our Qigong will do it, but it depends on genetics, what environment you were in, what was your diet, heavy metal. So we can have a full spectrum of all the parts, the emotional traumas, their stress, so that we can work with the sounds, we can work with Qigong, we can work with hormones to support somebody in those transitions and, make them be more, having a better quality of life.
You're speaking about the sounds and the power of vibration.
Yes.
Describe a little bit more about how that's used in the Qigong practices.
As I said before, we are sound beings. So what happens is that the body is off tune sometimes. And what brings the body to be off tunes are negative emotions. So holding grudges, anger, worrying, fears, sadness, depression, brings the immune system down, brings us shut down our organs. Everything gets constricted. And so by doing the sounds to the organs, we release trapped emotions. And always there's an emotional trauma behind most of cancers that happened 2 years before, and that it was overwhelming. It doesn't have to be huge, but for that person, there was no control of the situation. So when we can address that and bring out through the sounds the release of trapped traumas and proactive doing Qigong to work on the organ, to work on the circulation of flow, to work on the breast, on the immune system, we are making a body stronger to fight back and, learn from that lesson that was really traumatic, but that's life. It can be, a thunderstorm, lightning, everything can break down, volcano, Earth is, intense. So we just have to learn to live more intensively. And sometimes it is overwhelming, it, sets us back, but we can come up again and say, hey, I'm here, I survived. And now instead of surviving, I'm going to thrive. And I'm going to ride the wave, and I'm going to take charge of my destiny by being proactive. And Qigong is to daily do your practice to stay healthy. You eat well, but you also have to exercise. I always say Qigong is like brushing your teeth. You do that every day, but you don't brush your organs. You don't brush your glands. So it's much more important to keep a good immune system and healthy organs. And it's not by cleaning them, obsessively, like bleaching them, and that there's nothing. We have to coexist with all this bacteria, with all the things that is our universe inside, but in balance. So we have to find the balance of who we're living with inside us.
Well, tell us a little about your schedule and where you're teaching and how people can contact you.
Okay, I'm traveling a lot. I'm what's called a Taoist wanderer. So I'm in Argentina training, starting the whole Latin America expansion of these practices from Mexico down. We have some places that we are bringing these teachings into the Spanish-speaking population. And then I'm in New York City and Washington, D.C., and I'm also in Europe, in London, in Holland, and in Belgium. So I'm a little bit traveling all over. So if people want to get in contact with me, the best way is through the website, which is taohealingarts.com. And my email is infohealingtao@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
It's been a wonderful interview. I'd like to tell all of our viewers, don't forget, we're going to have an amazing upgrade package for the Shift Network. And I'm just so happy to be with you all and bringing the beauty of Qi. Thank you so much, Karen.
Oh, a pleasure, as always. Thank you, Sharon. Happy to share the Qi.
Yes. Yes.
Love you.
Thank you for joining us for the Qigong Global Summit. To learn about our global community, visit theshiftnetwork.com. And please share these powerful sessions with your friends and family.